Welcome, everyone, to episode number 131 of Talking Kentucky. My name is Coleman Scott, and his name is Caden Holmes. Here on a beautiful night in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's one of the last nights I'm going to be able to say that for some time, unless for some reason I come back down to Baton Rouge for, I don't know, life or
a trumpet
game. Yeah, trumpet
gig. I hear they pay pretty well down there.
Yeah, Easter gig, maybe I'll come back down for Easter next year.
Yeah, I told Coleman, heck, I'll take your spot. You'll have to drive 15 hours. I'll only have to drive 10.
Yeah, I mean, you're technically going to be closer to the gig next year, so I think you would kind of take precedence over me.
Do I have to audition?
I don't think this is one they really do auditions for. I don't think you necessarily have to audition for this one. It's just kind of show up and do your best.
Send in Star Wars. I have a Star Wars recording from the other night.
There you go. Hey, you could honestly make it as much as I did on that gig. You could probably hire an assistant. I should have just these past few years. I should have hired you as an assistant to play with me.
I think with me beside you, you probably wouldn't have been able to play.
Probably not. Well, I couldn't really do that anyway with the kind of gig that it was. So, but yeah, Caden's got the goat background still going there, the goat cat logo there. I've got good old Commonwealth Stadium here in my background because I feel like nobody is excited for UK football. And it may be for good reason, but tonight I think I'm going to give a little bit of optimism. I haven't heard anybody being optimistic about UK football, so I thought I would try to inject a little bit of positivity into the ether.
Well, if Clyde's watching, I have a feeling if you try to be positive about UK football, he's going to shut that down real quick.
He might. And, he missed our episode last week, Caden, and he commented like the next day and he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I missed it. I'm watching it now. I feel like Clyde feels like it's like a federal law that he has to watch our podcast, and he like profusely apologizes every time he doesn't. I mean, I respect it. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's almost like he needs an excuse from the doctor or something to miss our show.
Yeah, it's like in the syllabus.
Speaking of law, isn't Bruce Pearl going to be a senator?
Well, that's one of my topics for tonight that we'll definitely get into. Actually, that's topic number 1 on my list tonight. Bruce Pearl Senate is what I have written down, which is I didn't ever think I'd have those words written down together. But we're going to talk about that. But I've been like,
see what I did there? I was trying to segue you into it.
You were trying to segue me into it, but I feel like we got to start the episode with our holidays still, right? Like I think that's been a good little thing we've had going the past few episodes. But then we can segue into the Bruce Pearl stuff because they're about to have some good barbecues in DC. Over there, so I feel like we gotta get that going. But just like there's some good holidays on National Today.
It might be National Senator Day.
If so, then I think we should just go ahead and speak Bruce Pearl as Senator Pearl into existence. Honestly,
it is. Wait, why is this telling me May 30th? It's not May 30th yet.
Yeah, it's May 29th. Can't leave out the 29th.
Well, this website's acting like the 29th doesn't exist.
Well,
here we go.
It's like you can't do that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of interesting ones here. End of the Middle Ages Day?
I think those ended a long time ago last time I checked, but okay. That's fine. Yeah.
That just reminded me of Blixen's music history class for some reason. Because that's what I felt like I was in when I was in that class. Someone was listening that he played. Mount Everest Day, Coleman, what do you think about climbing Mount Everest? Is this something you would do?
It's not something I would do, but I've actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I've been, for the past few months, going down a rabbit hole for Mount Everest. I think it intrigues me, the fact that anybody wants to do it. And apparently it's becoming like a really popular thing. Like I was listening to Matt Walsh clip the other day. He was saying like there's a line up at the top now to summit Mount Everest. They're going to put like a Dairy Queen up there.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this the other day. Yeah, they're going to have a McDonald's and everything, museum up there.
but it's quite literally, yeah, gift shop and everything. It's quite literally a 50% survival rate. So
Yeah.
you literally
And people
have
are like, yeah, sure, I'll take that chance.
you have a 50% chance of death if you hike Mount Everest, or if you climb Mount Everest. I would say it's a little bit more intense than a hike. It's probably more of a climb verb that I would use there.
What else do
But
we do like that has that kind of risk involved? Going to space, maybe.
it's not playing the trumpet.
But
Just I can tell
now
you that.
with old Elon sending them up there, I feel like they make it pretty safe. I mean, Katy Perry went up to space, so I don't know if I'd say space would be 50%. I think you get better odds of that.
Probably so. I think generally, like ocean stuff would be higher than 50%. But you remember that submarine thing that happened a while back? I mean,
there's a documentary coming out on that. You see that?
I did not see that, but I'm gonna have to watch that. I don't know that I would go to the depths of the ocean to see the Titanic in any submarine. But if you showed me that submarine and told me that it was controlled by like an Xbox controller, I probably wouldn't have done it. But no, I wouldn't do any of these things. I wouldn't climb Mount Everest. But the other thing, Caden, is it's
would you go to
expensive.
Space?
I would not go to space. I wouldn't skydive. I wouldn't do any of that. Like I'll fly in an airplane, but that's about the extent of the extreme that Coleman gets. I feel like, but yeah, it's really expensive to climb Mount Everest too. Like it's like $30,000 to climb Mount Everest. Like I feel like in today's world, I would want to like buy a house or raise a family or something before that. Caden, I think my priorities are a little different than most people's.
Well, I see David Holmes just comment on here, can't fix stupid. That's exactly right. But that reminds me, David was telling me, I think his boss one time climbed mountains, and I'm pretty sure his goal was to climb on every single continent. David, you're going to tell me if that's right. I think that's what you said one time. So let us know if you climbed Mount Everest.
Well,
and how much did that cost?
I'm not poo-pooing climbing any mountain. I think climbing certain mountains is fine, but climbing Mount Everest, there's literally, Caden, a zone in on Mount Everest called the death zone, because people die there, and then they don't like when they die, they don't even like take their bodies away. They just leave their bodies on the mountain because it's too dangerous to try to get them off. To me,
yeah, so you're just passing bodies if you climb up there.
Yeah, so
there's videos on YouTube of this.
There are, yeah, and there's some bodies that have been there since 1977 or something. They're like, oh, there's old green boots. He's been there since the 70s. It's like, on one sense, it's kind of like ridiculous, and you kind of laugh, but it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't. I don't know that I would do that. Clyde says we're a Final Four contender. So Clyde's making his interest into his entrance into the chat here. Hello, Clyde. Good to see you back. Sorry, I missed you last time. But would you climb Mount Everest, Caden?
Probably not. I think I'd go to space before I climb Mount Everest. That's an easy decision there.
If you had to rank those three, so if we had to take like climb Mount Everest, go on Elon's rocket ship to space, or go on a submarine to the Titanic, which are you, if you rank those in order from most likely to do to least likely?
Most likely Elon to space. Second, probably, gosh, I don't know. I'll probably Everest, and then third, the Titanic.
Yeah,
I think the ocean thing's a lot more terrifying.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't do any of the three, but I would probably do the rocket, first. I don't.
Come on, have some faith in Elon, Coleman.
Yeah, I'd probably do the rocket. Well, I'm having some some faith in him here. I'm saying that of these three things I would never do, it's the most likely thing that I would do. Second, let's see. Second, I would probably do the Mount Everest, because at least there's like people like Sherpas or whatever they call them that that are there.
The
They're
guides.
supposed to like help you, yeah, and things. So at least you would have that. But yeah, the submarine, it's like, I don't know. I just don't like the thought of being that far in the ocean. Freaks me out, man.
Pitch black. And we don't even know what's down there. But David Holmes says he climbed Everest twice. Man, he did all 7. He did the 7 summits. The permit's just $30K.
Yeah, what a bargain.
That's just the permit.
Oh, okay. The way you said that, you're like, oh, it's just $30K, but you meant it's $30K just for the permit. Okay, yeah,
just for the permit.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm not.
I bet that's not even half the cost.
That's like saying, yeah, here's $30,000 to die, basically. I mean,
that's like a year of music school.
You can get a passport for that these days, I hear. For $30K.
Yeah, I renew my passport today. $130 just for a passport.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like that's not okay. I feel like when I got my passport last, which mine just expired, I feel like it wasn't that. Okay, and I don't think I paid $130 for it.
So did that go up with inflation or something?
Yeah, maybe inflation. Maybe it's Trump. Maybe it's who knows? We'll see. But Mike Dowd says our football team's going undefeated. Yeah, and then Clyde says, "LOL, stay off the pipe." Underneath that, so yeah, that pretty much sums up how the fan base feels about football right now. So yeah. Any other holidays on there? How do we get off on Mount Everest?
National Alligator Day. Speaking of Louisiana,
okay,
you're not going to have to deal with that for much longer.
Yep, I don't think so. Yeah, I think I've said on this show before, never seen an alligator in the wild, including since I've lived in Louisiana. So don't know if that's about to change or
just find the closest lake to you. You'll see one or 10.
Oh, I live right by 2 giant lakes. I haven't seen any yet, but don't plan to. Don't really have any plans to see any. So
National Snail Day. So
okay,
which is about what it felt like waiting for the Oway decision.
So, yeah, it is.
Another segue to
that's a segue.
Topic.
We can talk about that first.
Coleman, how many segues do I need to give you here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Okay, I'll take that.
We should have a show where it would be my job to give you the segue. That'd be
okay. Yeah, well, I think that's technically what's
happening.
What this is supposed to be. But I need to take the bait here. But okay, yeah. So Otega Oweh is coming back, as Madeline said earlier here in the chat. Oweh is back. I never really felt like there was any doubt that he would be back, but it did make me nervous waiting until the last second. I mean, if you remember this time last year, Caden, we were all waiting until midnight for Jackson Robinson to decide yes or no if he's staying in the draft or not. And I think we had to wait till the next morning, actually, to find out. I think he had made his decision, but it wasn't public until the next day. I stayed up. I think Claude was on the chat, too, listening to Jack Pilgrim and Sean Smith talking about it. They were staying up to midnight and talking about all kinds of ridiculous things, just waiting on an announcement, and never came.
Didn't we have to wait forever for Hamadou as well? I don't know why I remember that. I remember Hamadou Diallo.
Hamadou,
we had to wait till the last minute.
Yeah, didn't he like forget to turn in his paperwork or something like that? Isn't that why he didn't he didn't go to the NBA? He just didn't turn in his stuff in time. Which
I've never heard that. Is that true?
That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's what I've heard is that he like didn't get his stuff in time. But either way, came back.
This is sounding a lot like that Tubby Smith thing we were talking about.
Oh yeah, who was it? Was it Randolph Morris?
I don't know. I don't know if it was Randolph or we just made that up.
No, it was somebody that he like had found a fax or found something on the desk or something like that. Yeah, I can't. I can't remember that.
He said, "Whoops, my bad."
Theo says, "I'll take the Snail Day segue to OA for 400." Alex. Yep, that's Caden's. Caden's got the segues today. And
we could have Talking Kentucky Jeopardy sometime.
Oh, dude, that would be good. Yeah. Hey, that's a topic idea. You know, I feel like you'd find some sketchy like third-party website that can make.
Where you have to just kind of ignore the ads that are popping up.
Yep.
We'll have to mark it or we have to mark our show X-rated for whatever ads will pop up on that thing.
But we'd have a Jeopardy board on the show, so I feel like it's a good trade-off. David says he said there were dead bodies all over that mountain. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd want to do that. Pay $30,000 to see dead bodies and almost become one of the dead bodies. Yeah, it's probably not. Yeah, Claude says it was Randolph Morris. Yeah, the Tubby Smith thing. Oh, here it is. This says he could play. I just found it. It's just in my desk.
Yeah, I'm just like picturing some printer paper with like writing on it that's everything's misspelled, like from a third grader. It says Randolph can play.
Yeah.
Like RANDOLF.
Written in crayon or something. Yeah, I could see that. See that happen. Well, yeah. So Owe coming back, Caden. I never really had a doubt. Did you ever feel like there was a any doubt in your mind that he was going to come back?
Well, in the last couple days, I started to doubt it. I'm not going to lie, because I didn't think it was going to take him this long. But I guess good for him for going through the full process. But seeing those mock drafts and seeing how he wasn't even in half of them gave me a pretty good feeling up until a couple days ago. But I'm glad he's coming back. I think I said last week Elite Eight, and I was assuming he was coming back. But who knows? Maybe I'll change that prediction to a Final Four.
So what do you think about the whole video thing where he had the long hair? He since cut his hair, but apparently the video looks like it was made, a month or more ago. What, do you think he just kind of made one just in case way back when? You think that's kind of what happened?
I think he probably had a good feeling about it a few weeks ago that he's coming back.
Do you think he made one for going to the draft too? Or you think he just made one for coming back?
I doubt he made two of them. I think he just made one for coming back. He probably just wanted to get out of the way.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think he just wanted to test the waters, literally. And I think, today's day and age, that's probably more important than ever. And it's probably more of a possibility than ever. Because back in the day, if you even toyed with the NBA, the idea of the NBA, you were gone, right? There was no testing the waters.
Speaking of Randolph,
yeah. Well, and it's he hired an agent, it's over. Kind of, you remember that? Oh no, he hired an agent, so it's gone now. But nowadays, I feel like you can go play in the NBA and come back if you want to. It's I feel like anything goes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might come back, after he gets done playing in the NBA Finals, which
finish his degree at Kentucky.
Well, that's something else that we have to talk about. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, not only did he win NBA MVP and was the first Kentucky player ever to do so, he now, Caden, might win the NBA Finals. So how bad do we look? Now that's what I'm asking.
I'm just saying I'm more disappointed that I didn't pick Rondo in any of that. Because if you're just basing it off of how they played at Kentucky, I stand by my picks.
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, we screwed up with Rondo.
We really did screw up with Rondo, but that's a good point. SGA has.
He was great at Kentucky. He's great, but
he was. Yeah, he was. But he's been on another level in the NBA, and he did not play at none of us thought he was going to be the MVP of the league in the NBA when he was at Kentucky. Nobody thought that.
Is he still a quiet scorer? I remember him being Jamal Murray was like that too, him being one of those guys that just would score 30 and you don't even remember them playing.
I don't think I've ever watched an NBA. I don't think I've ever watched an NBA game. Maybe I should do that now that he's in the finals. Yeah, but I do remember that, at Kentucky, it's the whole game kind of slowed down when the ball was in his hands almost. Mm-hmm. It's everything just kind of slowed down. And it was it was almost like satisfying to watch him play because like you weren't nervous when he had the ball. Like, last year, yeah, I'll use Travis Perry as an example. I don't want to throw him under the bus or anything, but sometimes it felt like when Travis Perry was running point, like he was like freaking out, right? And the game speed like went twice as fast because you're like just nervous every time he touched the ball, right?
Shoot, I would be too.
Yeah, any of us would be
in that SEC.
But it just Shea makes it look so easy that I feel like you take it for granted sometimes. We were spoiled with point guards for a long time.
Ulyss, Wall, Fox,
Monk,
Brandon Knight.
Yeah, I mean, just all those backcourts were just insane, right? And then all of a sudden, when we didn't have that anymore, I mean, that's when kind of the Cal era kind of flipped, right? Because if you think like the COVID year when we had Devin Askew is really when everything flipped. Like all our backcourts after that were not like NBA level elite. Everything before Askew, we had Fox, Monk, Wall, we had these like NBA lottery pick guys. And I think a lot of people thought DJ Wagner was going to be that, right, post-COVID, but then he wasn't. And it just was never the same. So, I mean, even going back to Memphis days, right, with was Tyreek Evans, right, played for
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose, yeah. I mean, like, do you think the fate of Cal kind of rests in the hands of his point guards?
Well, that dribble drive offense, you have to have that.
Yeah, otherwise it's just not going to work.
Yeah, when you don't have that, you're not beating anyone off the dribble, and it's not creating shots for you or your team. So it's a must for sure.
They were talking about this on KSR the other day too. What if Jody Meeks had come back and was on that Wall and Cousins team? You think we would have won 40-0?
Who knows? But we wouldn't have lost to West Virginia. That's all I know.
Wouldn't have lost to West Virginia. That's for sure. Hey, since then though, West Virginia's been good to us, giving us Oscar Tshiebwe and giving us some big time wins. Who else? I think didn't Kerr Carissa play for West Virginia?
I think so.
Some point? Yeah. Yep. So they've given us some guys. Trey Mitchell, right after what's his face, Bob Huggins messed up said something on a radio show and got fired, right? Or resigned or whatever. Then Trey Mitchell transferred to Kentucky. Yeah, they're the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they've been good to us.
Yeah.
Hasn't Wake Forest been pretty good to us too? They gave us Olivier Sarr. There was someone else they gave us.
It was Andrew Carr. Yeah, he came.
Andrew Carr, that's right.
Yeah. Andrew Carr came from Wake Forest. So yeah, Wake Forest been good.
I don't have a problem with Wake Forest.
No, but their coach, remember, he got mad when Olivier Sarr decided to come to Kentucky. It was during COVID. He like ripped his face mask off and threw it on the ground.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
We were kind of afraid that he wasn't going to like sign off on it or something.
Oh yeah, something like that. Well, he did. It didn't amount to much that year, obviously, being 9-16. But glad to have him. Glad to have him anyway.
Yeah. I'm saying they've been good to us, and we literally went 9-16.
We all said we were going to win number 9, so that's not what we had in mind necessarily, but that's what happened.
Anyway, Shea, was it the Shea and Quade year? Was that whenever Quade left and Shea became our point guard? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Because I think Shea didn't start at first.
I'm almost sure he didn't. He came off the bench. I mean, just like all these
he was not a top recruit. He was not a top recruit.
Just like all the other successful guys in the NBA, they came off the bench at Kentucky. Yeah, Devin Booker, you name them, they all came off the bench. But yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, so Owe's coming back. That's what we were talking about, right? Yeah. So yeah, glad he's coming. Okay, so now that Owe's coming back, you've basically got 14 scholarship players. Cody texted us the other day, and he was like, "So what's Mark Pope going to do with 14 scholarship players?" Do you think this is a Final Four team, Caden?
I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm going to say Elite Eight, but there's a Final Four chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna get ahead of myself. I'm gonna say we're gonna make the Final Four. I think this roster is as deep as any Kentucky basketball roster that we've had, including 2015. I think the top level
Is the talent the same?
The talent is not the same. I don't think it's crazy different. But the talent is, 2015 is definitely a more talented roster. But as far as the depth, I think it's right there. I mean, I think I think it's going to be, in terms of how the minutes are going to be spread around, I think it's going to be a 2015-esque team.
Well, how many of those 14 is he actually going to play, you think? 12?
Yeah, that's the question. I could see him. I mean, well, let's take a look at the whole roster, right? So
there'll be one or two injuries, I'm sure.
Yeah, there always are, but the real question about that is Quayton's, right? Is when is he going to be ready to go? He's speaking of ready to go. Clyde's ready to go. He says Final Four, and he's even got
Oways
in the profile picture there. Well, let's look at the roster here. So you look at Trent Noah is probably not going to get a lot of love this year, right? He's probably not going to get a ton of playing time, I wouldn't think. Reese Potter, the 7'1" kid from Miami of Ohio, he's probably not going to see a lot of time on the floor. I would say this Braden Hawthorne kid is not going to see a lot of time on the floor. But other than that, I mean, I think the rest are going to play, right? So I think he's going to.
Isn't that Braden Hawthorne kid a top 30 recruit, though?
He was, but he fully recognized coming into this roster that he wasn't going to get the playing time that everybody else is, just because
he might be a little better than what people are thinking.
He might, but I think at max he's going to play 11 or 12 guys. But still, I mean, that's insane, right? I still think that playing 10 guys, when we platooned, we played 10 guys basically, right? So, yeah. What do you think, Trent Noah? What do you think his role is going to be? Because obviously he had to kind of step up and play a significant role last year, especially as we got kind of into the postseason. And now he's probably going to take a step back. I mean, how many minutes a game do you see him getting?
7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah.
Colin Chandler will get a little more, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Trent Noah might not even get 7 or 8, to be honest with you. I hope he does, but I don't even know that he will necessarily. Yeah, if you're looking at let's take Colin Chandler as kind of the X factor here. I feel like he's kind of like the wild card. He could honestly, if all goes according to plan with his trajectory, he could eventually start. I think. I don't think he'll start at the beginning of the year, but I think eventually he could. But then he could also kind of take a back seat, or he could be the backup point guard. I mean, or anywhere in between. Right?
I could see him being solid 6 man by the end of the year.
Do you see
which would
him?
Be a great role for him.
It would. It would. Do you see him playing over or under 20 minutes a game?
Colin Chandler?
Yeah.
Probably under.
Yeah.
Not by a lot, but I'd give him maybe 15.
Yeah, I might go under too, but not by much though. Like I think as the season progresses, he might be playing 20 or more a game, just in terms of just being the body, like an extra body that can go in and make shots. We talked about 3-point shooting on this team. I think you asked me last episode if Jasper Johnson was a good shooter, and I was like, I think he can shoot, but I don't think it's like his thing. Well, apparently it is his thing. Apparently he can shoot. So I think Jasper Johnson.
Are we ever right about anything?
Probably not. I don't think so. But that's okay.
That's why we have that disclaimer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why we got that now. But that's the only reason.
Not the only.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But Colin Chandler, is kind of like another guy that I think can be a 3-point shooter for you. Because remember, he was hitting them from the logo, at the end of last season, if you remember. So, yeah. But okay, I guess we should talk about Bruce Pearl and being in the Senate since it's something you tried to segue a long time ago. So,
hey, Clyde's climbing Mount Everest, by the way. Just making that known.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not how it goes, Clyde. So you get called to the show from Mount Everest.
Yeah. Call it Facebook Live us from Mount Everest.
Let's see. Oh, hey, Josh is in the chat too. Hey, look at Mike Dowd and Josh Bahart's profile pictures. Don't they look similar? Got one's a truck, I think, but one's Josh. But like the color scheme, the blue and the green there, I think it's like the same.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Josh says, "Hey, what's up, guys? Just made it to Provo, Utah. I'm here for the next 4 weeks." I saw earlier today that Josh was in Moab, Utah, which is one of the craziest places that I've ever been. It's looks like another planet. Looks like Mars, with all the red and everything, red rock, everything everywhere. Josh could probably attest to that, having been there today. Provo, Utah, home of BYU, former home of Mark Pope over there. So Provo's a pretty cool place.
Jason Bergman.
Yeah, and Jason Bergman. That's right. Yeah, and Josh Hart says it sure does. Yeah, there. But anyway, Bruce Pearl, might run for Senate, Caden. And if he does and he wins, he would no longer be the Auburn basketball coach. Would you be in favor of that circumstance?
He'd probably take a little bit of pay cut if he does that, right?
I think
by
so.
A few million,
at least $multi-million to a senator. Yeah, probably.
I'd hate to see that because he's pretty good for the SEC, right? We wouldn't be able to see him sweating in a suit over there every game.
Well, he'd probably be sweating in a suit, just arguing over a bill. I think he could.
That's true.
I think he'd be doing that.
But how did he get involved in politics? Wasn't he already a part of something?
I don't know if he's involved or anything. He's very political. If you go to his Twitter, he's very, very vocal on his politics. But other than that, I don't know how involved he is on political agendas. I
thought I read this earlier. He's involved some Israeli.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be. You could be right about that. Actually, now that I think of it. But it feels like
Israel chairman. He's a chairman of the U.S. Israel Education Association.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That I think you're right about that. Yeah, I think
I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, and didn't they play Israel a few years ago in basketball too? Then they play like an exhibition against Israel. Remember, because we had that soundbite of Bruce Pearl. We said, with the exception of Israel. I said there's not a team in our schedule we can't beat because they beat them, right? Israel beat Auburn. I think it was in the Bahamas thing. I think they did that.
That makes a lot more sense of why he played them now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes,
it's all coming together.
It took us a few years to gather that, but it took us a few years to get that together. But now we understand all played Israel just in time for Bruce to be a U.S. senator. So. Caden, don't you?
He's just going. You know how LeBron says he's taking his talents to South Beach. Well, Bruce Pearl's taking his grilling to U.S. Senate.
Yeah, taking my barbecue into D.C. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Grill some ribs. Who do you think's a better barbecuer, Cody or Bruce Pearl?
Cody.
I'd probably go Cody too. I'd like to see them go on a head-to-head on that though. I think that'd be really entertaining.
Cody's like third place pork. I think he's got a trophy that says third place pork butt.
Third place pork butt, ninth place chicken, whatever it is. I think Cody is the master barbecuer.
They just don't hand out pork butt trophies like that. Not to everyone.
They don't. They don't hand out blue ribbons. They don't hand out pork butt trophies. That's for sure. They definitely don't hand out pork butt trophies if they don't hand out blue ribbons. Yeah, that's for sure. But I told Caden this the other day. If the administration at UK allowed it to happen, Bruce Pearl would be our head basketball coach right now. Like that would have happened. But just sort of because of his past NCAA things, it didn't happen.
Won't happen now.
It won't happen now that the Auburn players whipped the Rupp Arena floor with a belt. That didn't help their case either. Definitely won't happen since if he goes and becomes a U.S. senator. But so what could have been with Bruce Pearl, but. If I were Mitch Barnhart, I just would have doubled down and I would have done a big NIL fundraiser. I would have had a barbecue, big blue barbecue, had Bruce Pearl, throw some ribs on the grill, have everybody pay $10 and come hang out with Bruce.
Yeah, he'd have to do it on Commonwealth Stadium to fit everyone that would come to that.
Oh, it would be the biggest NIL money making event of all time. We would have killed it. I mean, having Bruce Pearl in there, I think that would have been great, having a barbecue. I heard Drew Franklin say that if we ever bring Billy Gillespie back to Rupp Arena, that they should have him run out of the tunnel with Alan Cutler chasing him. That would be a good thing too. So those are a couple of images in Rupp Arena that I think would be good. Yeah, Big Blue Barbecue, Bruce's Big Blue Barbecue. How's that for some alliteration? Yeah, that would be and he'd love it too. He'd love every second of it. He would crawl.
BBBBBBQ.
Yeah, BBBBBQ. Big Blue Nation, BBN, Bruce's BBN, Big Blue Barbecue. Yeah, be a bunch of BBs. That's right. But so who knows if he'll actually do that and run, or if he'll get elected or whatever. But Caden,
the APO thinks this is happening because we didn't give the job to him.
I mean, I don't think that's that far fetched. I mean, that's not a crazy theory. Like, I didn't get the UK job. My players whipped the UK floor with belts.
So I'm really not going to get the UK job now.
Really not going to get it. So I think my coaching career ends there. I think that's it. I've gotten Auburn to the Final Four. That's
honestly just getting Auburn to the Final Four is like winning a championship anywhere else.
Because think about it. Did you ever think about? I mean, obviously there was.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah, Charles Barkley that played there. But other than that,
30 years ago. It's the last time they did anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've never been relevant. So I feel like, getting into the Final Four is something else.
I bet they didn't even get to the Final Four then. I'm gonna have to look up this.
Yeah, and Josh Hart brings up a good point here. Tommy Tuberville is going to run for governor of Alabama. Who's a former Auburn football coach, I believe. So yeah, just get all the coaches in. Have Cal run for office. Mark Pope needs to be governor. I think basically, if you're the Kentucky basketball coach, you are the governor essentially in Kentucky. That's kind of how it goes. Yep. You're doing some digging over there on this.
Yeah, I'm looking at Auburn's basketball history, and shocker, there ain't much.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, that's
it's a bunch of lost NCAA first and second round games.
That line's going to have to go in our 3-year video. I'm looking at Auburn's basketball history, and shocker, there ain't much. That's a good one. I like that.
When did Charles Barkley play? That was the 80s, right?
It's before my time. That's all I know. I feel like anything before Tubby Smith was at Kentucky is dead to me because I don't even remember it. But yeah. But Caden, don't you think it's to run for office now? It's just a popularity contest. I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, you gotta have money.
Gotta have money. You gotta be popular. These people saying that Stephen A. Smith should run for president, which I, by the way, don't think is a great idea. Yeah, I mean, I just yeah, don't agree. But that's how it is. Like you have to
Arnold
be.
Schwarzenegger, he won California.
Yeah, yep. You have to already be popular to get elected. I feel like in these days. So yeah, it is crazy, especially down there in Alabama right now. But hey, I saw that the NCAA tournament, Caden, is planning as soon as this year to expand the field from 68 to 72 or even 76. Are you for or against the expansion?
Well, we've already got the playing games, right?
The first
So it's
four
already
and the playing.
68, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 68 right now, but they're wanting to expand it up to 76 potentially.
Why do we keep making it bigger?
Well, in some sense, like the postseason is supposed to be hard to get into, right? So, you know, once you get up to a certain number, it like doesn't even matter anymore, right? So it's 76. Like, who cares if you get in or not?
You know what I think we need? We need playoffs at a certain point.
Yeah,
like play your first few rounds or whatever, and then once you're in Sweet 16, Elite 8, have like a best of 3, best of 5.
How would you feel about like the conference tournaments being a play-in to the an NCAA tournament? Like, so if you don't win the SEC, you can't get to the NCAA, which last year would have been insane. But yeah, I mean, or something like that, right? There, that you have to make the quarterfinals or the semifinals of your conference tournament to get to the NCAA tournament.
I don't know. Like you said, whenever a conference is 10 times better than any other conference, that makes it a little tougher to. I mean, we had teams this last year. We had several teams that could have been in the Final Four. They just say they don't even get a chance. It's tough.
Yeah, that'd be tough. But at the same time, like once you start getting the field to be 76, it's like, how do you even decide who gets in at that point? It's like all these teams that are like, it's like, how is Texas A&M Commerce different from Grand Canyon? If they have the same record, it's like, oh, their strength of schedule. It's like, well, they both played nobody, so who cares? Kind of thing. It's like at one point, how do you even decide who gets in and who doesn't? It's what I'm thinking.
Could there be like more tournaments throughout the year that count towards the NCAA? They could do something like that, like a point system. I don't know. Just throwing some stuff out there.
Like the Maui tournament. Yeah, well, there's starting to be these little NIL tournaments, where the winner gets, $1 million of NIL money and stuff like that. Would you be for or against Kentucky playing in those? That's something that some of these bigger programs are starting to kind of dabble with.
I'm against anything NIL, so my answer is yes, I do have a problem with
that. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't have asked.
Well, at this point, screw it. Let's just put all 400, 300 whatever it is, teams in the tournament.
Yeah, that's what Mike Leach.
Let's just make a month of NCAA basketball.
That's what Mike Leach would have said.
And then put every single team who actually had a good regular season, like put them like 4 rounds deep in it.
Yep.
And make everyone else battle it out.
Yep.
I think I just solved this, Coleman.
Hey, the NCAA should be.
It gives everyone a chance. It gives you like, if you'd have a good regular season, you get to move on through a few rounds. I think it fixes everything.
Hey, and we were just talking about it. Claude said we need to get in the Maui tournament again. Are you pro Maui Invitational, Caden? Do you think that's something we need to get back to? Yeah. I mean, that's even something Pope has alluded to doing in the future.
I thought he's going to do year one.
Yeah, well, I don't
think he acted.
I think they schedule it so far in advance. Okay. Like, I think the soonest we could get into it is like 7 years from now. It's like down the road. I don't know if it's that long, but it's like it's at least 4 or 5 years from now that we could even like. Because it is an invitational, right? So I think they schedule it so far in advance. So I think that might be the roadblock there. But I'd be down for it. I mean, why do we all get excited for the Maui? What makes the Maui Invitational exciting, do you think? Like, why do we care?
It's one of the best places on earth.
Just the play, like the actual Hawaii is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And like people think about
but
Hawaii and they think about basketball. And it's like their two favorite things. So
but you're not in Hawaii when you're watching it. You're just at home on your couch watching it.
no, but you know they're there, and you're like, that's cool.
You
Kentucky and Hawaii.
throwing a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah. John Calipari
Act like
has a
you're there.
Hawaiian UK shirt. Yeah. Okay. Act like you're there. Yeah.
Drink a lava flow while you're watching it.
Yeah. Do a luau in your backyard. Roast a pig. Put an Arkansas logo on it. Yeah, that could be good. That could be
This
good.
is what we should host this next time.
Yeah. Well, we already did.
We can bring the luau to Kentucky.
Yep. We just need to get the same voiceover guy to do our voiceover for that. Yeah, that would be
names will not be mentioned.
Names will not be named. Yeah. But and yeah, so you're against the expansion of the tournament, right?
Correct. But if we're going to do it, let's just throw everyone in there.
Okay.
That's my final answer.
So you're going either 70. You either want like 4 or 300.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing in between. Okay. All right. I can get behind that. Okay. Yeah. Something else involving money and tournament teams here. The SEC is increasing the fine for storming the court to $500,000 per incident. I think now it's like $100,000 for the first one, and then it's 200, and then it's 500, and then, but now they're making it $500 or $500,000 per court storm. Caden, you think that's fair or foul?
Well, whenever Indiana beat us and they acted like they won the championship that one year, and then they like rushed the court and almost started stomping over our players, that's whenever I thought, okay,
That was dangerous.
There should be some penalty, and it kind of made me mad that it was us. They were doing that too. So, gosh, I don't know. But then again, a team should be able to celebrate.
But yeah, I mean, now though, you got to think about like the NIL funds though, because literally, like when Vanderbilt beat us in basketball this year, their AD. She was literally over at the student section, like begging them not to storm the court because she was like, please, we need this money. And even Kirby Smart did that at a Georgia basketball game this year. He went over to the mic and said, he was like, guys, I want to get this quarterback. Please do not storm the court. Please, like, we need this money. If you want us to be good at football, you need not storm the court. And they didn't. It worked, but that's my Kirby Smart impression, by the way. Hope you all like that.
It's close.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I just need a visor. It's going to be even more. It's going to affect schools even more now, is what I'm saying. You know, like it's easy to think, oh, well, it's not my money, so who cares? Or, you know, that's just pennies for these universities. And I think it used to be, but now it's like it's not, especially with this like $22 million allotments that they're all going to have now. It's something else.
Well, they're doing this, but it's not really. I feel like the students and the fans don't really care, no matter what the cost is. So it's gonna. I feel like the only way they're going to stop it is by making it to where you literally physically can't get to the court, building barriers or whatever around the court.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, if they really never want the court stormed, I feel like that's the only way. Or
sound like Trump.
Have cops with tasers out there.
Yeah.
Is that more likely?
Gonna go. Yeah. Tase people running onto the floor. Yeah. Then they have lawsuits from the state. Yeah, I don't know.
They're all going to be drunk. They're not even going to be able to fill it.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, wouldn't be drunk at a UK game up till a couple of years ago, though.
If it was Arkansas, they'd be naked.
And drunk. Yeah, that's right. It would be. Yeah, that's right. Mike Dowd says to go to the preseason tournament, Maui, Alaskan. Yeah, there used to be that Alaskan challenge. We'd have to give up a couple home games and the home games bring in NIL money. Yeah. Do you remember that Alaskan tournament from back in the day?
No, but I'm down.
Yeah, apparently it's a little colder than Maui, I guess. But yeah, yeah. So there used to be some kind. I think it was in the days that Jeff Shepard played. It was called like the Anchorage Challenge or something like that. And yeah, so I think we
Sled
need to get back to
Dogs,
that.
Sarah Palin.
Yeah, let's get Moose.
I hear there's
Yeah.
a bunch of trumpet gigs up there too.
Yeah, there's trumpet gigs up there. The rent's cheap here. So yeah, I think there's all kinds of used to have a Bill Adam teacher over there at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. So I think it's all it's all good. Called the William Adam Basketball Invitational. I think that'd be good.
Greg Wing would be happy about that.
Oh yeah, this is a good point that Josh brings up here. The Lexington police threatened to arrest you if you don't sit down at the games. Yeah, do you remember that?
Well, there's going to be more of that. There's going to be more of that if they keep upping these fines.
Yeah, it is. We didn't even have room to stand up where we sat during the Florida game.
No.
Yeah, there was no.
We couldn't go to the bathroom if we wanted.
Yeah, we couldn't. We were just gonna. Yeah, if like we wanted to go, if we needed to go to the bathroom, it was just going to be
use your cup, Coleman.
We're just going to have to go in the bottle because that's like we weren't going to be able to leave. That's just what it was going to have to be. But hey, how do you feel that we saw us beat the national 2025 national championship team?
I'm not gonna lie, it feels bad.
It feels bad. I think it kind of feels good. On some sense, it's like, hey, we basically watched us win a national championship, Kate, when you think about it. I mean, we were basically present for that. So Mike Dowd says Anchorage tournament. Yep, I think that's think that's what it was. Yeah, Mike Dowd says put up plexiglass walls like in hockey. Yep, he gets body slam people up against the plexiglass walls. Yeah, I could see that. Yep,
guarantee you they'll either do that or use like physical violence to keep people from doing it.
Yeah, so we can have our NIL money. This is what. Yeah, we're gonna throw tear gas into the crowd to keep them from storming the court. Yeah, that's like what it's gonna be now. Hey, I've got all the I've got all the topics here from a monetary standpoint tonight. Offensive line coach for UK Eric Wolford. Just got a raise for $100,000 and a contract extension as well, who has probably produced the two worst offensive lines in the history of our school, and including during the Louisville game last year. Caden, one of our offensive linemen, was at the concession stand buying a hot dog in full pads during the game. So that guy just got a raise. Kind of makes you wonder why a little bit.
Stoops has hope in him, I guess.
I guess so. That kind of looks bad, right? You know, when you literally cost the team two of their best. So I mean, here's what's happened. You know, like back in his first year, right? Just to give you a little bit of history, this guy didn't recruit depth. You know. Enough depth on the O-line to where when he left us for Alabama that year, which, by the way, on a recruiting trip on our dime, he was recruiting for Alabama while he was technically still at UK. Then left us, and then we didn't have any players, and then now we bring him back. We had the O-line that we did last year. Our quarterback quit football because his body hurts too bad now because he got sacked like 12,000 times. And then now we just gave him a raise. It just feels a little weird.
So we got him from Alabama?
We got him back from Alabama, yeah. But I think there's a reason for that, Caden. I don't think Alabama wanted
why did they want him the first time then?
You're asking all the right questions here.
Something we don't know?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I think he and what's that?
I was just saying, I take it Clyde's not very enthused about UK football.
yeah. Looks like Clyde's not too enthusiastic tonight either. I said I was going to be positive about UK football, though. Maybe I can give some UK football positivity toward the end of the show here. But maybe we can sit here and take a couple calls. I know Josh hadn't been able to call in for a while, and then Clyde's listening too, who skipped the show last week because he doesn't like us, Caden. But 502-234-1504. We'll have a couple have a couple calls here and go from there. So that logo looking real good back there.
Got it on my sweatshirt too.
I mean, you're rocking like the '96 championship team here.
Yeah, I want my whole closet to have that logo.
Yeah,
that's my goal here.
Yeah, I think that's our comments really don't like UK football right now.
Yeah, they're arguing about this dude's last name. Clyde said Woodford.
Yeah, don't give Woodford a bad name like that, Clyde. Yes. Hey, Ron, talking with Kentucky. Who's this?
It's Clyde.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Well, what you mean I don't like it? Actually, what was funny was last week I actually planned on watching you guys, and then we're there for a couple of weeks. You were sending me the show, and I kind of guess I got kind of used to that because. But then,
so it's because I didn't send you
the.
Yeah, I guess I didn't send. So this is really my fault because I didn't send the show to Clyde last week. So that's really what it was. But now I'm just giving you a hard time, Clyde. But yes, I apologize for not sending you the show. You know that you're always invited to attend.
Oh, I know. No, you're good. That's all good. But yeah, I said in the chat there that Adou Thiero is staying in the NBA draft, which is good for him because thank God he does not have to pull a Calipari anymore. I mean, I'm so happy for him. I've been kind of quietly pulling for Adou Thiero all this past season, and because he just was a favorite of mine. I mean, I just love the kid who's got a good attitude, and still never made sense to me why he followed Cal to Arkansas. That still doesn't make any sense to me because his complaints were about how Cal was using him, that he follows Cal to Arkansas with the coaching staff he had here, and then Cal had a Kenny Payne, which was at Louisville, and all that, and that never made sense to me. But anyway,
yeah, I've always liked to do. It was hard for me to see him go to Arkansas, honestly, because I've always really liked him. And it seems like a lot of these guys, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander included, have done better in the NBA once they get away from Cal. Honestly, It feels like they're, even Karl Anthony Towns, I feel like when he got to the NBA was able to kind of branch out and, play his game a little bit more, and, especially from shooting threes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, another guy that kind of reminds me of that is like Big Z. I feel like Big Z would be much better in Mark Pope's system. And even I don't think he'll ever be in the NBA. No. But I think in that pro style system that Mark Pope runs at Kentucky, I think guys like Big Z that have these skill sets of guards would be in a much better situation. So.
No, I agree. I mean, he is one guy I wish that was on last year's team because just the way Pope could have utilized him, just kind of like how he utilized Brendan Garrison. I mean, Brendan Garrison made a lot of threes this past season, which, from his highlights at Oklahoma State that I watched last year before he, after he committed to Kentucky, I was watching some of his highlights. I'm like, I don't know. He's taking a couple of risky shots, but they went in, and I'm like, is he shooting any threes? But then he was able to do that here, but we know Cal would have never let him shoot threes.
Exactly.
Even though he let Aaron Bradshaw shoot threes, and back to what you said about Towns. I mean, although Towns was a great player here, but Cal should have let him shoot threes. I mean, he should have because he is the best shooting big in the NBA. I mean, that is proven. Despite all the sissy stuff that he does, he is the best shooting big in the NBA. And his skill set is for the NBA. And, with Shai, you're right about Shai. He got better, I mean, not saying he was not good here, because he was fantastic here.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you said, his skill set is more NBA based. That's why he's won the MVP. That's why he's in the finals now. Probably about to play Indiana, probably. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you for sure.
Well, man, you got anything else for us before we let you go?
Just don't get your hopes up for Kentucky football. I know you guys. I know you come in, love Kentucky football, and I do too. But I'm just not really feeling Kentucky football this year. I mean, I'm gonna watch them until basketball season starts, and once these exhibition games start, I'm done with football after that. But like they showed. What was it today? No, it was today. It was today. They showed our first 3 home games. It was Toledo, Ole Miss, and Eastern Michigan.
Yep.
Now, me personally, I feel like we can actually win that Ole Miss game at home. I do, because we always play well against them. So my thing is, if we can go 3-0, I'm gonna give the biggest applause ever. I'm telling you that. I'm gonna feel like we won the national championship. If this team starts 3-0, I'm gonna feel like they won the national championship. I'm just gonna be very happy about it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy that if we're being optimistic, it's not crazy that we could beat Ole Miss, because I mean, we just did this year and we were terrible. So, and it's at home. So you never know. But all right, man. Well, thanks for calling in, and we will talk to you soon.
All righty, sounds good. Go Cats.
Go Cats. 502-234-1504. Give us a shout. Caden, you got some of that ice from that premium ice maker you got over there?
Oh, do you hear it rattling around here? Does it sound like the Bourbon Stone show?
It does a little bit, although that was probably even more obvious. Hey, Raphael Little's in here. My favorite UK football player of all time. Shout out. We still need to get him on the show. Raphael, love to have you on the show anytime. You should call in.
Hey, honestly. Speaking of Hawaii, his background's looking a little Hawaiian over there.
It does look a little
tropical
Hawaiian
somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I didn't know if Clive was talking about Devin Booker or Raphael Little here, saying he should have started some games at Kentucky. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, Raphael definitely did start games at Kentucky.
Yeah, a few. Yeah,
but yeah, just a few. But shout out there, 502-234-1504. Love to hear from you. And while Raphael's on the phone, or well, I'm not on the phone, in the comments, another reason I'm optimistic for UK football this year, and this sounds a little funny, but Caden, we got a complete roster turnover. Like, we have like almost nobody returning starters from last year on this year's team. I mean, I feel like some people view that as a bad thing, but
so it's like excitement and not knowing what the heck's about to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like the basketball team last year, honestly. Like, we know nothing about any of these guys. Could be terrible, could be great.
It was kind of like every Cal year, too. Like, before it got real bad. It's like you just honestly didn't know. You could win a championship, or you could go 9-16.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. That's exactly right. And our quarterback, Caden, Zach Calzada, this is his 7th year playing college football.
Yeah, so he got a few COVID years, huh?
Yeah, we got the most experienced quarterback in the country. So for better or for worse, we got.
I feel like even in the year 2050, they'll still be saying they're having their COVID years.
Well, that's what's his face is doing, right? From Tennessee, Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah.
Zakai Ziegler.
Is he going on 7 or 8?
He's going on 5. But it feels like he's been there for 10 years. Yeah. Perry Ellis is still trying to come back, I hear. He's still trying to get his COVID eligibility, even though he didn't play during COVID. But
from the nursing home.
Yep. That's right. Last call for calls, 502-234-1504. I had some other topics on the list tonight, but I feel like, I could come in here with no topics and we'd still talk about Mount Everest.
Yeah, I don't know why you're still making topics.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm screwing the pooch there. Maybe I need to not do that anymore. I think that'd be good. But well, Ziegler, Claude says Ziegler go find a job. Yeah, I think he's trying to find a job at Tennessee. But don't know if that's going to play out for an extra year. He has no basis on it either.
Oh, yeah, but they'll still let him play.
He's basically just saying, "Hey, you should just let me play, because why not?"
They'll let him play on the basis that Rick Barnes is a good guy.
He is a good guy. I'll get behind that. On that note, we'll go ahead and end the episode on the Rick Barnes is a good guy, and Bruce Pearl's a good barbecuer, but not as good as Cody. But Caden, what are we calling this episode?
Talking
ice. Talking money.
Talking Everest.
Oh yeah,
that was the centerpiece of the whole hour. So
I think it was. Yeah, talking
$30 grand for a permit.
Yeah, go get you. Is that a real? Yeah, the real permit's $50,000. If you want to get it verified.
Yeah, about the price of a passport.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got to go to the DMV.
Shouldn't I get a passport just for being born in this country?
You're asking all the right questions. Okay? I feel like that's true. You got your birthright passport.
This makes about as much logic as the Trump $5 million gold card.
They hand you your rattle as soon as you come out of the womb. They give you a rattle and a passport as soon as you get out. So yeah, well, talking Everest, I think that's good. But yeah, well, got anything else, Caden? Nope. Any other passports to complain about before we get off the show?
No,
okay.
No, just it shouldn't be $130, but
nope, shouldn't. Well, good luck to Bruce Pearl and his Senate race, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Coleman Scott for Caden Holmes for Mount Everest. This has been episode number 131 of Talking Kentucky, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Cats!